confidence in the things that I know. I have enough wisdom to see the logic will be shown. I got one chance to show you what I got. I got one chance to show I'm confident or not. Self-evident reason, deductions and conclusions, and the fools are running away. It's not what you say, it's only what you can prove. You better watch your step, you better mind your P's and Q's. You got one chance, show me what you got. You got one chance to show you confident or not. Don't get caught in the matrix of all of these fakers. Society's spinning, and I'm just here living on the ground. Self-evident reason, deductions and conclusions, logically thinking, and the fools are running away. You're flipping over backwards to show me where you think you are. Your model dictates that you never see too far. Shrinking in the distance, you can do fuck all with an angle, and the fools are running away.
And we are live. Welcome. Model Affliction Monday.
Good evening.
Good day. Yeah, Model Affliction Monday. Everybody knows, at least everybody that comes here and watches us, there is no model. So we're down to people that can't get rid of the model. Proper model afflicted. Globe's gone. No possibilities of that fucking thing. Gone. So, all we're left with is model affliction. People obsessed. Flat Earth obsessed, I call them now. We had 50 in yesterday and the day before. It was hard work. So model afflicted. So today, I thought, we've not been over it for a bit. I don't think I've ever been over it really. Before we came in here, I got my lad a camera and we went to Bedford, the canal. Dr. John D. Roxanne was there. A few other people. Can't remember the names of them all. But yeah, we sat in a dinghy and looked out at 8 inches above the water. There was a post in the middle of the canal with a little table on it, and we put the camera on it, and we filmed a guy on a boat going away. So I think we'll get some of that footage and go over it so people can see what happens. I mean, I've always said, this is Robotham. This is what Robotham did. So I always said there's no way Robotham ever actually did what he told everybody he did. It's always been, I call, Flat Earth Society. People that are pushing the narrative, people that want people to have an argument that isn't an argument. So they've pushed something and people have talked about this and that for quite a long time. Now, when I first went there and looked at that, sat in a dinghy with my lad, Roxanne and all of those, I thought, what are they doing? Doesn't make any sense to me. But I was just there taking my lad out, getting in some life experience. It was good. I'd never seen anything like that before. So, shall we get some of that up? I've queued it up ready. But it's going to take some Discord to swap photos, right? So screen, I'm going to change windows, photos, change. Just wait a minute, Discord's messing us about a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. I'll close your window down. Can I? Oh, right. Can you guys see that on the Discord?
Yes.
On my screen, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So photos. So these are some of the photos we did. Oh, wait a minute. Why is that not transitioning? There you go. Right, so these, got it on the YouTube now. This is a few of the pictures we took from just up there, right? So you can see these are the mile markers. I don't know which one of those. I think there was 3 of those out that we could see. So you can see like the mirroring. You can see the way it goes, and then at these points here, it disappears. It's not visible. Blurry. Remember, this is the first time he's ever used the camera. That's a nice picture, that one, though. Right, so this is the lock gate, and we were in a dinghy just on the other side of this, looking that way down there. Welney Bridge area is where we are here, ish, and that's where Rumpus was. That's where we were when Rumpus ran away. This is people that were out on the date. Old Riverdelf. Now this is a picture taken from Welney Bridge. I think like 2 or 3 years ago now. Looking down towards I forget what it's called now. Well, just the other bridge at the other end. Now it's there in the view. You can still see that the tree. But we've since got an infrared camera, so we do have infrared picture of this now. This was the first shots we were taking. And there you go. So that's us putting the camera on. See the marker on the right hand side there? There's another one a mile down and another one a bit further. So this literally is the footage. I don't know how many people have ever seen something like this. This is what Robotham would have seen. Look at that. So you can see in the picture, see the guy at the side, a complete mirror. But over here, that's all mirror. The whole thing. I think it's crazy when you can see these little tiny lips of water as it's coming over. But that's the only bit that you can actually see. All the rest of this is just mirror. It's like it's glass or it's not there. It's, you know, like you're not actually seeing the water. This is just all not there. And like you'll see when he goes down in the later footage. Mirroring. This was him setting it up. Do you reckon to that?
That is great footage, this.
Yeah. I think that's a mile, that one. That marker there. Remember, we just bought this camera. £1,000. And gone down there. And he's been told to put it on a little ledge 8 inches above the water. Look at it.
So that boat is about a mile.
About a mile away. Yeah. Because that marker there, I'm pretty sure that's what they said. The markers. And I'm pretty sure you could see there's, you know, the bridge actually at the other end is down here somewhere, but because of the mirroring, it's hard work to get you know, focus on it. And when you're on a table, we were trying to get it set up so that we could just leave it still, but it was still wobbling a bit because it was like freehand-ish on that ledge. And then once you zoom in, look at it. See, that mirroring layer just goes all the way up. It's been a while since I've been over this footage.
Yeah, there is no way to distinguish.
Yeah, any of this here. Yeah, well, you'll see what happens when the boat goes out, you know. these are, took some pictures.
That's some beautiful footage.
Yeah, look at that. This is the one from Nug Life. I've got a video saved for us to go over. That's the bank at the side.
And it shows you the ripples in the water. That the only reason you see the ripples is for the same reason. They're breaking that mirror effect.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, you can see the ripples and they go up there and then it just stops. It's like there's nothing there. It's just, you know, I don't know what you call it, but you'd never see this if you didn't have the camera. I don't think. You know, like, privileged to see this, but this is what Robotham would have seen. There's no way it would have been any different. You see, you're in the middle of a bank, and it's cold, guys. Big jackets on, and it's early enough in the day, but you know there is a bit of sunlight, but it's cold. It's about this time of the year. Chilly. I found that amazing, you know, just at that bit there. So we're gonna look at that. Mirroring. There you go, look at that. So the bridge is in there somewhere. No doubt if I could overlay the other one, although that could be gates at the end. Sort of a bridge there. But yeah, you can see that there. Right across that crest there. There's nothing behind that. Some sort of optical illusion. There you go, there's the thing. So that post drove in with a table on it, and that we had to rig something up so the camera was sat on this little thing looking down there. Supposedly exactly what Robotham was doing. Right. Okay, so screen. Move this one over here. Now, can you guys in Discord see that or no? Is that good for you?
Yep, we see it now.
Like great.
Now, this is the footage of... There we go. So this is the video footage of him. Oh, I'm guessing it's us still trying to sort this out. There you go. How's that? Now, he's in his dinghy. And he's moving away. and the mirroring. Oh.
Can I ask a question, Kev?
Yeah, go ahead. We just leave this on.
How far away is that boat from the camera right now?
I think
Roughly.
it's about, it may be 1 mile or maybe 2. I don't know. It's hard to tell because like he's trying to sort the camera out. No, that must be, well, see that one there, the first one is 1 mile. So that next one must be 2 miles. But as he goes and he goes away, all that happens is that the mirroring layer just goes up.
Ramps up towards the center of the picture. As long as the camera's centered.
Well, see whether we can. Wow. There you go. Oh.
I think if Rumpus sees this video, he's going to change his mind real quick.
It's where, you know, I mean, Rumpus is right to do the one from the bridge, right? Because this is obvious that Robotham just didn't do this. Right? He did. Oh. There you go. Look at that. So I think Dr. John was at the other end. So where's the hump there? Or the drop? And where's the bottom of the boat gone? If the reflection is there. I mean, has the boat gone over the hump and that mirroring is occurring past the hump?
Well, I would say it's a drop hump myself.
But how's the reflection or the mirroring occurring? Like, you can see the mirroring in the distance. Like, as he moves away, it goes to a point, doesn't it? It's like there's something. Does it disappear from the bottom up? Or is the mirroring disappearing from the top down? Both of them occurring at the same time.
That's nice. Explain that with your standard refraction. Yep. Go ahead.
So this is supposedly what Robotham was doing. Guy's out there with a boat. It's just got a thing with a red marker on it, right? Like that guy. Robotham's got his waders. Sat in the middle of the canal. Somebody's at the side going, "What can you see?" Like, yeah, can still see him. Oh, yeah, come and have a look. Like, no, you're all right. You stay in there, lad. You'll be all right. I'll trust you. Don't worry about it. Yeah. no mention of this mirroring or anything like that.
Yep, I smell a rat.
Right, there's the motor going in. But look, the mirroring. Where's... Oh. So that's in the water now. But... So is his bum. Like, what's going on? It's like a shark, doesn't it? It's like a non-threatening shark.
Where that V is, that's where the magic starts. Right at that point.
So that, like, it's obviously before that second marker. And, I mean, where's that? Could that possibly be the first marker? I don't know. Looks great, doesn't it?
Look at that.
So, like, where's the hump? Where's the... What is it you're meant to be looking at?
He's wet right now, right? He's sitting in the water.
Yeah, the back end of the boat has completely disappeared. But has it gone over a hump? What's going on? What is going on there?
Very clearly and very obviously, it's a visual effect. There ain't no hump and there ain't no drop.
It's so perfect with the ripples there also in the foreground showing you.
Yeah, like, where's the mirroring line? If you can follow that mirroring line all the way up that, can't you? And you'll see what happens to the guy in the boat as he moves up that mirroring line. Watch what happens. Even the bird, like, that bird just disappeared.
Oh, wow.
Like, woof,
Yeah.
gone. Like, was it up? Top up? Bottom down? What was it? What happened?
And this happens all the time. This is not just a freak event. People should understand this. Yeah.
You can't see this unless you've got, like, a long, straight bit of water. And I don't know how many people have ever put their camera fucking 8 inches above the water at Bedford. I mean, I think this is pretty exclusive footage, right? I don't know how many other places have seen this. This is literally what Robotham would have seen.
At the same spot. Yeah, historical, I would say.
Boat going down there. But, like, now, where's that boat, right? So this is my first trip, right? Just going out to go with my lad with getting a camera. Like, this is fantastic stuff. And I'm there with the flat earthers, right? Thinking, what are they doing? It's like, in awe of seeing this picture. It's like, that's fucking amazing. We're in the dinghy trying to keep him still and everything. Trying to watch that. Talk to them about what's going on. But thinking, the flat earthers are... What are they doing? I've done the surveying. Look at that. It's great, isn't it? Like, he's just driving down there. He's, like, going further and further away. So how's the... Is he over the the hump?
Look at the middle of the boat. It was in 2 separate parts.
Yeah. It does it. He turns around in a bit, and I was like, it's like an atomic fart. Scooter or something. Look at that. Like,
Look at
Hadouken!
Yeah.
It's crazy. Saragaki, the first time I went out with my new camera, I got an image just like that. First time I went out.
What a lucky shot. Look at that.
It's not lucky, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's
Yeah.
impressive. Like, shout out to... but you can go tomorrow on the river and get the same thing.
You've just got to get close enough to the water.
Yeah, I wasn't even that low. I was 8 feet off the water.
Right, but I mean, it gets weirder, right? Because
the lower.
If you look
go,
at that, what is happening now?
Now the split image is raised above. Look at that.
Yeah. So where's the hump? Where's the bottom of the boat gone? It's gone into.
Now, for those that say what makes stuff disappear, you're looking at it right here. It's the atmos. There ain't no hump and there ain't no drop there. That's clear. Crystal clear.
Stuff
The
just
evaporating water layer.
disappears. Yeah, Rumpus is in the chat. Well done,
Yeah, I was gonna
Rumpus.
say,
Yeah,
you've got some fans in the chat.
yeah. It's good
Rumpus
being
and
able to
George.
share your screen, isn't it? On Discord. Yeah, this is the bit here. He looks like he's got a mobility scooter, fart powered. Look at that.
That's cool, man.
But like, where is it? Is that over the hump, Rumpus? Is that seriously?
That's why it's
Is that-
perfectly mirrored.
Yeah, perfect mirror. After he's gone over the hump.
This is what you're up against, Rumpus. Get a good look at
There we
this,
go,
bro.
Look at that. Yeah, look at that. We've already been there, Rumpus. Done it. Been there, done that, Rumpus. We're just waiting to see the straight line test rect test that Rumpus is doing. And then we've done the 3. We've done Wallace, Robotham, as you can see here. And then the Rumpus test. The trifecta. Robotham, Wallace, and Rumpus.
Look at this.
Yeah.
And don't forget Bev and the lad.
It's really incredible footage, Bev.
Yeah. I've been sat on this for ages, like, you know. I've always said, like, Robotham, there is no way Robotham did what Robotham said he did. Can't be done.
Not by what I'm looking at here.
Not at 8 inches off the water. You can see that ripple there in the foreground. That's the last bit of water. The rest of it,
It's a mirror, yeah.
it's yeah.
When did he get out of the boat and start walking around? That's what it looks like to me. Like he's walking through the water.
It's meant to be over the hump, right? That he's
boat-
meant to be over a hump now. He's gone over a mile away, right? That's what's meant to be happening. It's like there's no way with that perfect
Looks like
mirror.
a jellyfish.
But if he's over the hump, why is he still perpendicular to the ground, it looks like? Doesn't look like he's angling away.
Oh, I don't think you'd ever get any of that sort of stuff. I mean, even they say with their model, the angle, you wouldn't see the angle because it's away from you, so therefore it's a vertical tilt, you know, it's tilted away from you, not...
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
See it. Good stuff.
Or you can go with the radical idea. There's no hump.
Absolutely. That's disappearing bottom up and top down into that layer in between. The whole boat's gone.
Oh, and those birds.
Did you see that?
Wow.
It looked like they came out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's fantastic that, you know.
This is exactly where Robotham supposedly did his thing?
Yeah, this is 8 inches above the water, exactly like Robotham. Except Robotham did it in the 1800s with a telescope, supposedly. He was stood in waders. As if. Right? It's flat earth society. It never happened.
That's amazing.
Because, I mean, who would he get in the... in waders in the middle of the canal to go and check it?
There's no way he saw 6 miles. No freaking way.
No, I think we said it. This guy is about... He may be getting to 3 miles there now. Ish. I think.
What kind of camera are you using here?
It's the P1000.
Okay.
I'd literally just bought my lad the P1000 a week before we did this. We went to go here.
I'm amazed.
That view is going to be different on different days. I mean, I think everybody realizes that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a refraction. I mean, it's mirage and it's mirroring down on itself, but that's cool as crap. But imagine trying to measure like to a story pole or to a sign in that type of, atmosphere.
Yeah. To what? Where's the bottom? Where are you measuring from and to? I mean...
Yeah, you're having to guess. I mean, even if you take where it starts mirroring, like where it starts mirroring the top to the bottom, you don't even know if that line is accurate, right? Like,
it's definitely not the bottom, is it?
No.
It's like there's a boat disappeared into that middle bit there somewhere.
Yeah, the boat is still there. It's just mirrored the sky and whatever's above it. The boat is like the top is mirrored to the bottom. See the top part, the white part is now on the bottom also.
Yeah.
I think you'd have a tough time convincing a novice that there's a boat there. Somebody's
right.
Aware of this?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it myself, the way the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge actually got distorted and mirrored down on itself, and it turned towards me as the viewer, and then I went to the opposite, on the other side of the bridge, left to right. It turned that, or appeared to turn that way. Like it not only mirrored itself downwards, but it reflected itself.
Oh. Yeah.
Probably got a call.
Yeah, here he is. I think he does. He stands up. And I think when we were there, right, at this point, we were going, I think I can just see a bit of orange. I think over there's so with our naked eye, that's what we could see. Right, here's the next 20 minutes of footage.
What time of day is this?
This is well, we got there early. So it's 10, 11. It might be getting on. You know, we did say that if we were to do it again, it'd go there earlier, but I don't think it'd make any difference. We were meant to go back again. And I said we definitely would because it was a great day out. We get to meet everybody.
Is that yellow bit? Is that sun reflection or what?
No, that's the bank of the canal.
Okay.
But it will be where the sun's breaking through the clouds because it'll, you know, it goes. I think what they said they'd done for us, they'd sent the council down there, or you know, the waterways, and they'd cleared the bulrushes and the weeds because it's not actually a used canal anymore, that particular stretch, because they've got another canal on the right hand side. I mean, it did used to be used by boats, that canal, but so they cleared the reeds so we could have a view all the way down it. Because if you look the other way, you know, the bulrushes that they have growing in when they're not used would have obstructed the view all the way down. So I don't know what.
Looks like a guy walking on water now.
Yeah, well, like that, the whole boat's now gone, hasn't it? That all you can see is him, and I think that might be him standing up.
Yeah, but half of his reflection is in the water.
But that mirroring line just keeps going up, as you would imagine. But eventually, it sort of goes up to a point where it meets itself, and it's not there anymore.
How far away you figure that is now?
I think he's got to be getting close to 3 miles now, at least, on his way to 4.
Wow.
Look at it. So yeah, it's getting out of the range of the P1000.
And that's a long range.
Yeah. And there's a duck.
How much closer is that duck?
Well, yeah, quite a lot closer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like he's just into the mirroring.
Yeah.
Duck.
Yeah, the duck's just past the break of the water. But I mean, it even might be quite a fair way in as well.
Look. That duck is the Logos right now.
Yeah.
Just to show some of the naysayers in the chat.
So look at that.
Even blocks the mirror image while
So the
passing
mirror
by.
of him, where he is above the duck. Right?
Look at that.
The mirror is above it. So what's going on there? Does that go up to the mirror? Is that where the hump is? Above the duck? Or is that just fucking optical? Look at it.
All optical.
All of that there. Yeah.
Everything. Watch it and weep, ballers.
See there, look at that. the optical image of that guy is, or the mirror optical image is above the duck. Oh, come on, duck, come on, back in shot.
And this was the first time that you went out and did this.
Yeah.
I told you, every time you go out, bro, you're going to see something like this.
Yeah, he was pooing himself that, you know, putting a 1,000-pound camera on a little thing 8 inches above the water in a canal. It's bad enough getting into a dinghy with it. So this is, again, this is what Robotham would have seen. And they'd have been going, can you see it? And he'd have been going, yeah. And that's providing he's got anything like a P1000. Like 125 times optical zoom. I mean, I don't know what Robotham would have had.
Yeah, those are crazy numbers.
Yeah.
125 times.
Back
That's
in
crazy.
the day, 1800s. I mean, I know they were pretty advanced, but...
Like those scopes, those telescopes you could...
in the water. Really? What's he going to have put his... No, he's a handheld telescope, hasn't he? That's all a Robotham would have had.
Yeah, look, those on ships, yeah, pirate ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Zoop. Can you see it? Oh, yes. But does that mean it's flat then? Like Robotham. Oh, yes. Like, no way.
Of course.
That's Flat Earth Society. Look at it. If Robotham hasn't sorted that, right, into teaching people an argument that isn't even an argument. He never did it. Did he? I mean, it would be good to go there and do it again. Try a different time. This is early spring.
How would you put this in a diagram?
Yeah, draw it.
Yeah.
Because that's what somebody did. Somebody drew down what he said was happening.
Yeah, real time is just shouting to the guy on the side. This is what you need to draw. Just
It's like a
follow my lead.
fuzzy blob. Like, what can you see? Can you see the boat? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I can see the boat. No way. It doesn't matter what temperature the water is. If you compress 3 or 4 miles into that little bit of water there, just past that crest, if you've got such a low angle there that you can see one ripple of water, because, I mean, that ripple there could be a mile away. And everything above that ripple just vanishes. But the only way you'd ever be able to see that is with a camera like that. If you didn't have that camera, you just wouldn't see it. You wouldn't know what you were looking at. You couldn't get that zoom in to look at it. To see that, you know, it's just the massive mirror. It's doing well to keep this steady here, to, you know, at that. But you can see that there, that bank right at the end of that, that's just canal. But it's just the sky, isn't it? And you could say it's optical because that's what you're seeing, but I think we're all seeing the same thing. So the camera's obviously picking it up too.
If it isn't optical, what is it?
Look at that. Now that bird was flying for quite a while there.
I take it you could see none of this with your naked eye at this point.
I can remember saying to Roxanne, because my lad's on the camera, and I can remember saying to her, I think I saw a flash of orange there, and she's going, yeah, I think I did too. So like when he turns round, you could just about make out that you know, there's something orange there in the middle that just doesn't quite fit with what we were seeing. But you know, you'd struggle to know, and we were obviously a bit higher up because we were 2 foot maybe
Above the level of the camera.
Yeah. A little. Well, we're sat up, and the camera's at sort of like the deck height of the outside of the dinghy, and our eye line's, you know, a good 18 inches above that, I'd say. But how that was what I was thinking, right? First time ever I gone out to meet some flat earthers with my lad to take the camera, and like what are you meant to think when you see that? I'd never seen anything like that before, ever. I don't think anybody had. I was literally thinking, there's meant to be, did you say there's meant to be a hump there? Or they say there's meant to be a hump there? Look at that. I mean, I don't know whether Rumpus could measure that. Would you measure the height of him to say that's how much he's missing?
Rumpus, are you rethinking your rec test right about now? I'm curious.
Is he still in the chat? Oh, yeah.
After seeing this, I mean.
Oh, well, I'd say, is that a hump or a drop, Rumpus? I'm struggling to understand. Is it that the mirroring is occurring? Oh yeah, he's put something on the top. I think he put his hat on top of the paddle. See where the line of that is.
You saying he put his hat on top of a pole or something?
On top of his oar.
On top of his oar, okay.
Yeah, and then he's holding that up. Because I think we were at a point somewhere where they got halfway or whatever, and he was trying to see whether John D could see us from the other end. I never got to see the other end.
Why are we seeing the reflection of that hat in the water as well? That's weird.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was thinking while we were there. It's like, how?
Oh.
It's just, it just looks, you know, my brain's trying to go, what is occurring here?
Yeah.
Because he can make that reflection go miles away just by lifting it up. But I mean, I don't know, the mirroring. It's hard to tell what's going on.
It is. It looks like it's something in the sky now.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like it's part of the water when you're zooming in
No, it
that
doesn't.
much.
Because that bank looks like a cloud to me. Oh, there's a bird.
Yeah.
So Rumpus thinks he's going to solve this by going higher up. Okay, let's see, Rumpus.
The water levels. Which water levels, Rumpus? There's on one. It's Bedford. One canal. How many levels do you think there are on that canal there that we're looking at? I'd say one level of water all the way from that lock to the other lock. And yeah, the gates were down, so it was sealed. And there are different levels at either side of that lake, at that gate. Rumpus, yes. We measured it.
How high are you going to go, Rumpus? Do you remember the black swan with the crane? You guys were saying it was bent out of shape. How high do you figure that was, Rumpus? Got you.
If I was watching one of SE's videos yesterday, and I heard you talking about the black swan and the problems with it, and I don't think I ever heard your take on that. So, I mean, if there's ever an occasion where you can rehash that, I'd love to hear it.
The problems with the black swan.
Yeah,
That's where Bev comes in.
Yeah, I was watching one of your videos yesterday, SC, and I can't remember who Bev was talking to, but the black swan was brought up, and he had brought up that there was some issues with the black swan, how it was put together improperly or something. But I'm not sure what it was. So if you don't have to do that today or anything. Just if you remember, if you could ever bring it up again sometime, I'd love to hear your take on it.
Yeah, it'd be great to go over the black swan now. We've got a few more logicians going around. See, I think there's quite a few flaws in it. But yeah, we'll go over it some other time. But they go back to this, right? This is the original. If you're talking about flat earth society, this is where it all came about. Some dude, Robotham, got into a bet with somebody about something, and he got this bit of water, right? And he's supposedly a surveyor, and he gets some dude to go in a boat to go away. Right now, it's optical. You're putting an argument into optics. And he's a surveyor. He knows water doesn't slope, drop, hump, doesn't rise. It stays level, horizontal. So there would be no need for a surveyor to do this. Flat Earth society.
Anybody that owns one of these zoom cameras, you go out the first time, guarantee you will be convinced this is all visual. I guarantee you that.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with SC.
All right, let's do it.
I bought a camera after I saw Soundly's picture of Lake Pontchartrain. It was the power line that I saw.
Yeah.
And I bought a camera and went out there, and I saw a hump of water that was obstructing the distant shore the first time I tried to film it. And then I went back and started, flat earthers are full of shit type thing. And which I now know that they actually are, but You understand? Like,
Yeah.
I saw the water myself, right? It's bulging. It's definitely curving. I never knew that, but I have it here on film. And they were like, no. That's an optical, that's an illusion. That's just caused by the atmosphere. I said, no, I was green as an apple, right? I didn't know anything about this. And I was like, no, that doesn't, make any sense to me. They said, well, look at this, and then go back on a different day. The second time I went back, I could see the shore with no water even close to being in the way, right? The total opposite of what I filmed the first time. So then I went back and started studying how the atmosphere affects these things, what angle you're at, the light source, blah, blah, blah. And I went back, 10 or 20 more times since then to the exact same spot. And, then you get a good grasp, of how much the atmosphere can distort a distance of maybe just 2 miles, much less 10, 12, 20. You can't even fathom it, to tell me now that I don't know what I'm talking about after everything I've done, especially when there are people that are sitting behind a computer have never been out themselves like SC has or me. No, you can't. They can't tell me anything now. I know for sure that it's the atmosphere doing it. And then on top of that, where you try and measure curved water and you can't do it yourself for sure, and you can't find any surveyor who's ever done it unless they're named Jesse or what the one other surveyor or 2 other surveyors that are on here acting like a fool. You go out in the real world and no surveyor has ever measured curved water, ever. Just call them up and ask them that simple question. So put those 2 things together and it's just an illusion, how we see over distance.
Rumpus is amazed in the chat about this. He thinks it's fantastic. I bet he wishes he'd done it. Look at him. Loving it. Never seen anything like this before.
Rumpus is so irrelevant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing how he acts. I mean, who would listen to someone like that anyway? Just go out and do it yourself. Don't even believe me or SC or, Bev or whoever. Just go do it.
I was just going to say that, Rakia. Don't believe us. Get a camera and you're going to freak out, I'm telling you. Once you zoom in and you go past a few miles, you're in for a treat. I promise you that.
Well, if I would have went out my first time with a friend's camera and never went back, I would, to this day, probably never have, known any different. I would have thought the water curved, even though I'd never really realized it before or thought about it because of what I saw in that camera. But going back, getting my own camera, going back to the same spot on different days is amazing now. Like, I'm so glad I did it. It's crazy how nice it is to know, and then how beautiful it is to be out there too while you're doing it. So you're out in creation and you're learning something.
The first day I went out, I caught a boat split in half, just like Bev. And I also got a sea-doo coming in and out of existence. Like, like the shield of Star Trek. It's on my web. It's on my YouTube site. I was blown away, man. Okay. I was just blown away.
Yeah, I have a couple with the birds flying right on that band, right, whatever you want to call it. That distance where it's mirage versus reality, right? You can see the wings and then he flaps and then you can't, or you see the whole bird and then you can't see it and then you see it again. It's coming in and out of that layer right there. It's crazy. Yep. But it's like a sheet, that's the wall, right? Like beyond that wall, it just looks like sky, but it's not. Like the sky is actually hiding whatever's behind that false wall. And that bird or sea-doo or whatever is coming in and out of that distance, that wall.
It's like, okay, Star Trek fans, get ready. It's like a Klingon shield. Not the shield, when it disappears? Yeah. Just like that, man.
I don't know if y'all watch, what's the Tom Cruise movies that, whatever, Mission Impossibles or whatever, and then they create that fake screen that makes, the screen looks like the background, but it's in front of them where they can be behind it.
hang on. I'm sorry, Dave. I just wanted to correct SE, and it's called a cloaking device.
Thank you. Yes, not the shield, the cloaking. Thank you, sir.
A true Star Trekkie or Trekkie or whatever they call them.
Can I just
But
address Rumpus as
I don't
well
know
in
what
the
you're talking
chat?
about. I'm the flat earther here. Remember that? I know what he's talking about. I hate Star Trek.
I'm a big fan of Star Trek. I'm not ashamed to say it.
Right, Rumpus, this is footage that you'll never get. Rumpus, you keep saying everybody's got this footage. No. There's only one person that's got this footage, and that's my son. Name one other person that's ever seen Robotham footage. Definitely not you, Rumpus. You've not even done any videos of yours yet. We know you've never looked through an auto level at Bedford. We also know, and we've never seen any footage from any cameras of your test, Rumpus. So it's great being all big man in the chat, telling everybody how you're amazed at the footage that other people have got. You should go and get some of your own, Rumpus. You're so irrelevant. You've got nothing. So upset, Rumpus. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they're all really angry lately.
Even Jose's got the same footage. Jose hasn't got any footage of the Bedford levels, Rumpus. You haven't even got any footage of the Bedford levels, and you're meant to be doing a test there. No practice footage. You've got nothing, Rumpus. No, Rumpus. This
word salad
is the Bedford levels footage. 8 inches above the waterline in the canal where Rumpus is going to do his test. Rumpus has a test, but Rumpus isn't going for the hump, which, strangely enough, people have been saying in the chat that's what this is. No, Rumpus is going for the nutsack drop, the full nutsack drop. 20 odd feet, I think you're going for, Rumpus, isn't it? Where are you measuring it, Rumpus? Nobody knows what you're doing, Rumpus. Nobody knows what your test is. Nobody knows any footage of anything. Nobody's seen any elevation. That'd be good. Show us an elevation profile of what you're going to be doing with your auto level, your flags. It's all right to be talking shit in the chat, Rumpus. Let's see your videos that you said you're going to be doing shortly. You've been doing a video shortly for a year, months. You're going to be doing some practice footage. You're going to be going live. Let's see your live footage. Let's see your live streaming on your channel. Let's see you practice doing some live streaming. It's shocking, Rumpus, that you've got nothing and yet you're still talking shit. Where's the hump? Is it there? Is it above that duck's head? In the picture. Is the level of the water above the duck's head in the distance? According to that picture. Let's see if I can get it paused. There you go. Point to where the level of the water is, Rumpus. Let's see. You've never practiced any live streaming, Rumpus. You've never done anything. You won't be doing your test. It's no good talking shit. Everybody knows, Rumpus. We've all been there. We've seen the footage. We're just waiting for you to put your out and let's see what you're doing, and then we can go back over the stuff that we've already got. That day when we were there at Bedford and Rumpus ran away because he feared for my safety. So he was telling everybody.
That was surprising. That really surprised me. I mean, come on, Rumpus. Come on. Could have went and shook in the guy's hand. You know nothing would have happened. You know that, right? Come on.
Oh, I don't know where my snipping tool is.
Yeah, I think that was just a cop-out in my opinion. I don't know the man personally, so I really can't say.
Yeah, he could have looked at the auto level and seen how ridiculous his tests could be. Everyone here has already seen it, Rumpus.
There's no need for hard feelings or feelings of insecurity. No one's going to threaten or do anything to anybody. We're all human beings. For the love of God. Come on.
He's promised us live streams and videos and footage and all that over the last 6 months. And I haven't seen one, just a lot of talk. Losing credibility in my eyes.
There you go.
It will be interesting because I think Rumpus said he needs a team about 14. Did you say 2 per each station, Rumpus, or 3? So that's 6 stations, 2 people. That's at least 12 people. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rumpus.
I like that picture, Bev.
Yeah, it's like where is the mirroring line? I mean, when you look at there's some of them that you can literally watch that mirroring line move up the screen.
Yeah, the duck is closer, so it's not mirrored as much. The mirroring line is further in the back. With distance matters, right?
Yeah.
Same elevation, same viewer, same focal length, same light source, same light angle. The only thing that's different here is the distance that you're viewing. So that optical illusion is created by the atmospheric conditions and all the other angles and things, but distance does affect it. They will deny that to the hilt for some reason.
Well, I say
is the major thing. The number one thing is the distance.
It's disappearing top down and bottom up. Both together. That mirroring line is just, you're losing more and more. The further the object moves away, the more that mirroring line squishes together. And you lose stuff in the middle.
Yep. Usually you look for a V.
Yeah.
Now I know this because of Travis's observation. You see that V on the left there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's usually where the split is.
But it's here, right? Here's the middle, which is higher up than this is the mirroring line here. And this is the mirroring line here. So that mirroring line just moves up.
Yeah.
Screen.
Well, you have to be careful because the distant objects can be, I don't want to say magnified, but they can appear closer than they really are.
Absolutely, yeah. You can see when he holds his hat up, right? That comes all the way down here, right? This distance is, it's just so weird, so strange.
Well, just imagine the reflection on the ground, like a shadow coming towards you. That's kind of what you're seeing here. The top part is what you're seeing, however you know, whatever, and then it's being reflected back to you, mirrored back to you, and that bottom portion is a reflection, usually closer to you. Like, I don't know how to say it. Like, it's hard to say it. You have to actually see it. But those distant objects, the distance in between the foreground and the background, you can't even begin to measure that by pictures like this. Like, you know,
No chance.
yeah, humans aren't good at that anyway. But when you have something like this, it's totally different.
Yeah.
This is just like one of my pictures of the bridge. I mean, it's only 6 miles, 8 miles away, and it's crazy how bent and distorted and refracted and mirrored, whatever. I mean, it's all of it. I mean, whatever's happening is happening. Don't matter. You don't see too far or see too little or too much. You just see what is being presented to you.
Yep. I remember when I first went out and I looked at this, I said, man, this looks like heat haze. You know, when they say refraction and this and that and all, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, shit, man, it looks like the water's heating up. You know, like on the road when you look far away, see that shimmering, right? That's what this is. I think that's what this is, combined with other things, of course, right? But I think that's the most of it.
Nothing at distance is as it appears. I promise you, especially over water. You
Check
can go
out that
back.
view.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sorry, Rick. Yeah.
No, that's crazy, right? That's neat. I love this.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see this bit
When
here,
you
the ripple in the water just there. That's amazing. That you can just see one ripple, and that's all you can see. That's because of the the angle of the water, and the water wasn't it wasn't rippling like that. Do you know what I mean? That like you were saying, there's a magnification. Well, in those ripples.
Yeah, the ripples are probably much, much smaller, I would say.
But they look like, I don't know, the camera as well.
They're probably doubling themselves. Like,
Look at the front of the boat. Look at that V.
Yeah.
The shark mouth that you say, right? Yeah, there's the split right there. It's crazy. It happens every time like that.
well, interesting enough, in Soundly's power line pictures especially, you can see it. Where the mirage line or the V or whatever you would call it starts is exactly the very point where the bottom and the top appear to be distorted, up or down or obstructed by something or bent, curving or whatever.
Look at that, man.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that V there. That's perfect, isn't it? Well, that mirroring goes to there, but the mirroring here is where the boat is. And the mirroring here of where this bit is, that it just moves up.
You know what Travis says, right? Where that V is, right? Is where that's where, where we're saying the mirror thing. That's what he calls the ether band, whatever he calls it, right?
Yeah.
That could make something disappear behind it.
Well,
absolutely.
It's definitely disappearing in here. As this moves along the water, the bottom disappears up and this top goes down, right? Eventually at this point here, there's no mirroring of this bank at all, even though the bank does keep going down.
Yep.
the mirroring disappears, and it's because we are so low that you get to see that, and you get to see it disappearing, but it does just disappear both ways.
Yep. In the background, I'd like to point out those trees or whatever that is in the background. See how gray they are? A little more distance, and that'll become sky.
Yeah.
Even though it's not behind anything, it's not obstructed by Earth curve or whatever you want to say. It just goes out of vision. It just appears to be sky at that point. Even right there, they're distorted. You can't even really tell what it is. You know it's trees, or it appears to be trees, but
yeah, there is a lock gate back there. We do have the other footage. I'm waiting for Rumpus to put his video out and his test, and then we can show you all of the other stuff we got from when we did the Wallace one. We waited 3 years for this. So I've titled this one Slope ? So where's the slope there in that? Is it sloping down? Because Rumpus is going for the full nutsack drop, which means in the distance there, along that 6 mile length of canal from one lock to another, Rumpus thinks there's a drop. It drops for Rumpus from the horizontal on the vertical. I don't know how much. Rumpus will have to do the calculations to let you know exactly how much drop Rumpus wants to find in that water level on that canal. That's right, drop from horizontal, because Rumpus doesn't think the water level is horizontal. Strange person, but... And he's going to do some flags at the side on this bank down here. He's putting some flags up at the side of this canal. Erecting flags he is down over there, so he can hopefully measure the drop of the it is the drop of the water level, Rumpus, in the distance. Now just check that, Rumpus. It's not just the drop of a flag, is it? It's a drop of the water level that you're looking for on Rumpus. Yeah. Wallace and Robotham were looking for a hump. But Rumpus has decided to go for the full nutsack drop. Oof. Big lad. 20 odd feet. Everybody else has thought there's a hump here. And then that's what he's going over. So you would have to say, right, in this bit here, because this is the mile marker and this is the 2 mile marker, that he's somewhere in between mile 1 and 2, and 8 inches is how high the camera is. So that should be able to see a hump. Should there be a hump there? There should start to be a hump. Or would that mean that because the camera's 8 inches, that it's meant to be 16 inches below? Don't know. Nobody's been able to help us with that. Camera's at 8 inches looking that way. That's a mile. At 1 mile, would it be horizontal still, or would there be a drop of the water over that distance from here to there? And then would that drop get even more, exponentially bigger over 2 miles? I mean, what drop of 2 miles? What does anybody know what that is? I think is it 32 inches, near 3 foot? But the camera's at 8 inches, so I don't know. You have to work the calculations out. It's amazing.
Those flags, are they set up by a surveyor or something?
I think
How
Dr. John had already set them up as, you know, I think they'd been there the day before and done some sort of a laser test. And as we turned up Saturday morning, I think they'd been there Friday night.
You have to make the tops of those flags are horizontal, correct?
No, they're just markers. Oh, rumpus.
Distance markers, you mean?
Yeah, they're just markers they put at the side so we'd know how far he was, or when the guy in the boat's going down, we'd know how far. I don't know how many they did actually. 1, 2, 3. That might be the third mile.
They're not being used to register the drop. Then they're just markers for distance.
Yeah, yeah. There's no there's no drop. We weren't doing anything for drop.
I know that.
Day. Yeah, I was just amazed and thought, where's it meant to be? It's obvious when you see that sort of thing. There's a mirroring that's occurring. And that mirroring line just moves up the boat. That doesn't mean that he's moving over a hump or going down, dropping the vertical from horizontal. I mean, that's not what's occurring there, is it? What's happening there? It's amazing.
Well, they've now said that these effects happen, but they happen on a curved surface. And then they have to say that even more happens on a curved surface, because when we, so to speak, see too far, those objects aren't being obstructed bottom up. They're being lifted up where we see more of the bottom than what we should. Yikes. Tough sell.
Rumpus is calling this, he's saying this is a new discovery. He's just worked it out. He's never seen it before. I'm find it strange that Rumpus has never seen mirroring like this before. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? What you should have done, Rumpus, you should have actually got some footage. And then you wouldn't have to rely on this. I mean, I've been had this footage for years.
He's trying to say he's never seen Soundly's photos or mine?
Yeah, he's never seen any of that. It's all new to him.
Whatever. We got another boomer that's having trouble with memory now. Jose's shown this. I've shown it. Soundly's pictures have it in it. Rumpus, come on.
See, Rumpus is just lying all the time. That's all he ever does.
Yeah.
Just lie.
What's the guy that switched back to the globe? All his pictures had this in it. You know, like a lot of his footage, he would show this effect. Travis, Rumpus, really?
And he still thinks it's a drop, right? I mean, Rumpus is convinced that the guy in the boat that's going away is going down, dropping whilst travelling in a boat on a canal away from us. Down.
So when he comes back towards you, he's going up?
He must be coming back up again, yeah. We do it backwards and then he's coming uphill.
As he gets closer to you, he's coming back down, right?
Well, to him, he must be coming back down again, yeah. They never go up, do you? Always down.
That's kind of my point. They're never going up anywhere. They're always going down. If you go down and turn around, then you're going up, right?
Rumpus, you should just go there and get some footage of your own, mate. Drooling over my footage of my son's footage of Bedford. And that's the old stuff. Wait till you see the infrared. When you put yours out, Rumpus, you show your footage for your video, right? And you can use some of this if you want. Take it, Rumpus, and use it in your presentation.
Set up an infrared, Rumpus, when you do your test.
Mm-hmm.
Side out.
Yeah, I think he's got somebody with an infrared camera coming over to help him, part of the team. I don't know whether he's going to allow them to be on the bridge with him or he'll have to go to one of the other stations. Yeah, Rumpus, and we know you're looking for the drop of the water level. Yeah, we know. Not the hump, Rumpus, right? Yes, we know. Rumpus isn't looking for the hump. He's just going for the full nutsack drop. Full 20-odd feet or something like that, I think he said.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, over from along that level, the water level, dropping 21 feet in the distance, Rumpus thinks.
He's got me totally confused. He's saying the drop isn't an elevation change. It's the difference between level and horizontal. What does that mean?
Poof. He's crazy, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't understand that at all, that statement.
Well, Rumpus thinks that the water level isn't horizontal. Therefore, there has to be a slope from one end to the other. If it's not horizontal, there has to be a slope. One end has to be lower than the other because that's how elevation changes are measured in the vertical. And he's a bit at odds, right? Because Rumpus is looking for the drop and Blue has been drawing unclamped elevation profiles where he puts a hump in the middle, he puts a vertical height above the horizontal in the middle, which is a 90 foot. He's got a 90 foot. I mean, it's not 23 miles, but Rumpus doesn't mention the hump in the middle when he does his test. He just mentions the 21 foot drop. That's right, isn't it, Rumpus? Yeah, drop. Yeah, the drop of the water level over the thing. It's amazing. I'm not so sure. We can point to it in the picture, Rumpus. You show where your flag would be. When you do your video, Rumpus, you can take this footage of the row bottom 8 inches above Bedford level, and you could draw a little flag on it, show us where your flag would be. One of them, team of 3. When you do your video, Rumpus, hopefully it's coming out soon. It should be really good. Dead good production video or intros, Rumpus, and the wrecked test. Yeah, elevation, Rumpus. Everybody knows elevation is measured as a change in the vertical. That's how auto levels work. You know, the measuring rod that you hold, that vertical, and then a change in that height, distance from the horizontal, is what we call an elevation change. I mean, I don't know how many times I've told you, Rumpus, how surveying works, differential leveling. I'm pretty sure you don't know how an auto level works yet. And then I know for a fact, Rumpus, that you've never looked through an auto level. Especially over there at Bedford level. Like Wallace did. From the bridge, he put his telescope on the bridge. Like pretty much like we did when we got the auto level. And we put the auto level on the bridge. Actually, my son did that when we took that footage. Again. But you can show us all of your footage, Rumpus, when you do your video. Yeah, he's so keen. Everything to do with Bedford level. So what we've got here is footage. Everybody, you're new to watching. This is footage from the Bedford level canal. At the old fens. And this is 8 inches above the water where Robotham was looking down. Rumpus is doing a test that he's going to be doing videos for. He's been saying he's been working on them for months. He's going to be live streaming when he does his test. It's going to be massive. Everybody all over the world will be keen on Rumpus finding the drop of the water level over 6 miles. I'm sure they're aware of it already, it being called the Bedford levels and them having to keep it drained specifically. Rumpus is going to go and inform them in the local news and local newspaper that the water level drops 20 odd feet in the distance. Later this year, hopefully, soon, George is coming down because Rumpus is going for the full nutsack. George is coming. It's got to be done. Historic.
Not the full nutsack.
He's going for the full nutsack, yeah. Nobody else has ever been brave enough before. We had Robotham, obviously. I mean, he definitely wasn't looking for the nutsack drop. And then Wallace showed that there was a hump in the middle. When the guy drew some pictures of what Wallace saw, he drew a hump. That's good. Let's watch the birds again. So that's birds flying, isn't it? That's not them coming off the air. They're under the water, were they? Were they under the water on the other side of the hump?
It's the hump.
Did you ever consider having the guy in the boat having a camera just so you could see his view and compare it side by side with your view? I mean, would that help in any way, you think? Just have a camera sitting in front of him, just looking at what he's looking at.
Like Essie and Rakiv said, this is just optical. This would change by the day. It changes. You can see it changes when the guy moves from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, literally because of the way the light's hitting the water. It all changes. It's optical. There's no way that is a drop or a hump or anything. That's everything there. There's an optical effect going on. So you saw a bird just fly in and out then on the same bit. It's because I was thinking I'm sat in the boat with my lad, obviously having a bit of surveying knowledge, right? And I'm thinking, right, so if I was there, I'd set the auto level up at this end of the bank here, and I'd measure down to the water, and then I get the the level of the water, and then I go all the way down 6 miles, differential leveling, making sure we were, we knew the elevation of the bank all the way down. And then at the other end, I'd just measure back down to the water again. And then I'm thinking, that's fucking ridiculous. Of course the water's going to be level. Right? How could it not be? So, what are these flat earthers doing here? It's optical. That's obvious. That's optical. So what are they trying to do by looking at this sky to work out what's going on? I mean, it's obvious the water isn't going to drop at the other end, says me. But people like Rumpus says different. Rumpus says it's a drop. It's a drop that's not a drop because the water level is level, obviously. It's just that everybody else knows that the water level is horizontal. Rumpus thinks it's not, so therefore it has to be something other than horizontal. Get Rumpus to define it. He just says it's level. They have no other way of defining level other than just saying it's not horizontal. It's one of the worst definitions I've ever heard. I can define it very well. They just say, nah, it's not. Well, people like Rumpus do.
Hey, Bev.
Hey.
In cavitation of water, 33 feet, so you couldn't have like a 90-foot hump of water anyway.
Not a chance.
So, I mean, doesn't that end it right there? Just the whole silliness. I mean, water not having a slope, neither higher nor lower. I mean, it's balanced,
No
and then
hump, no drop.
Right. A hump, no drop.
Yeah, there's only one thing left, and that is horizontal. That's it.
And what we are looking at here now, God didn't give us eyes to look at that because we can't make sense of it. It's all distorted. That's why we don't see further than we see. We see the limit of our vision, where everything is in focus. You start to look at that through optics, it's a mess real quick. And you certainly can't measure anything from it.
Yeah. Yeah, over that distance, there's nothing there.
Yeah, you can have the straightest straight edge, and you can put it right along that water's edge, and like you said, measure the height from one end to the other end, it'll be the same height. Just as you expect.
Yeah, like you say, we haven't got eyes to see that.
Right.
That's 125 times zoom that we've been looking at that on.
Exactly.
How are you going to count pixels to something you can't see? Or, across something you can't see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange when you look at it because you're looking at the mirroring. It's literally after this break here. This you can see this is like a fuzzy reflection. This here, on this side of this ripple, this is a reflection in the water. But at the moment you see that lip there, where that break is for the actual water into the distance, that then just turns into a full mirror along a line, right? So from about here, draw a line straight to the tip of that. That's just mirrored, and everything just compresses into that and disappears. Both ways. This tree at the bottom end, you can see when Rumpus finally gets his video together, it'll be amazing when we do see it, because he's been working on it for a year at least. When he does that, I'll be able to show you some footage of this tree and where it is, how it, you know, how far away it is. Rumpus is putting a flag up over here at this end, sticking a flag up there, and he's going to look at it from the top of the bridge, which is behind where the camera is right now. I think it's about 8 foot above the water level, so he's going like 8 foot higher. 8 foot? No, it was about 8 meters, wasn't it? I don't know. No, it can't be. Must have been about 5 meters. Hey, Jose's got some. Yeah. We've got loads as well, Rumpus. How many of the Bedford levels have you got where Rumpus is doing his test?
See, this is also why I asked Rumpus that time. This must have been a few months ago now, by now, right? If he could have a logical statement to go along with his test written down beforehand, like so everybody knows what's going to happen and what's expected to happen and why. All formally written down, that'd be nice. And then you could imagine, like, when it's going on live, you could have a still image of what you expect, like this prediction that they all ask for. They could come up with that, put it side by side and do it live, show what's going on in the camera.
Yeah,
it's an excellent suggestion.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Rumpus to do his test, and then do his video at least document to let everybody know exactly what you're doing, Rumpus. Preferably throw in an elevation profile thing so we know, everybody knows what's going to be measured and what's going to be, you know, how it all works. Because as far as we know so far, what we know for a fact is that mathematically and geometrically and logically as well, but I mean mathematically, geometrically should take in logic, but all horizontals, all, like as in every one of them, they are parallel. Also mathematically and geometrically being perpendicular. All verticals, shock, they're parallel too, even in mathematics. It's only a strange group of people that like to say that horizontals intersect with each other. Strange group of people. Rumpus is one of them. So that's why we ask for a elevation profile of exactly what it is we're looking for when Rumpus eventually does do his test. It's going to be momentous. It's going to be massive. I would imagine there'll be TV camera crews there. They'll be taking notes and the names of everybody. Big group photos.
Will the Queen be invited?
Well, I mean, how could you not? I mean, nobody else has ever tried or attempted to measure the nutsack drop over this length of water.
It should be considered an historical occasion for sure. That
Yeah, for the world. This is what the Globers have been waiting for. CNN, that's it. FPV Angel. Let's get him in on it. Let us know when we're doing it, Rumpus. Let's get the video done of the build up to it, and then we can see how hype we can get everybody. I'm hoping to be able to take my son there, because he's already got the first two ticked off. Robotham, tick. Wallace, tick, done that. All we need now is the Rumpus. Nutsack drop. And imagine how much every baller would be loving this, Rumpus. I'm not surprised they haven't funded you much better. There should be massive backing for the Rumps. I can imagine they'll be getting a throne ready for you. You'd be taking the throne off Big Blue.
Imagine we're in, 2022? Draw down all the diagrams needed for this test. All the angles, all the different perspectives. And, I mean, if you can break it down with, your voiceover, you make a video. 2-minute, like a movie trailer style video of your test. Trailer, upcoming, soon to be done, rec test, right? Trailer number 1, and just hype it up. Let's go.
Yeah, just a quick 5-minute of all of the clips of the little bits. The best bits of Rumpus when he was setting his test up. I bet Rumpus has done when he was modelling his flagpole building. I bet he's done a time lapse of when he was building his flags and setting up the flags.
Yeah, imagine like the if P then Q that you had Emma do the voiceover for. But it's Rumpus, talking about his own test. With all of this done, like a trailer thing, like upcoming. Yeah.
We'll hype it up for you, Rumpus.
Yeah, we can easily hype it.
Yeah. But some like fireworks and sparkly bits. Let's get ready. The summer of 2022. Never to be forgotten. Forget
this
about
is like
NASA.
Yeah. This is like in those movies, right? That moment of the hero's journey. He leaves the village and everybody cheers him on and throws this big party around the bonfire, right? Sends him out into the world. Nobody has gone where you're going, Rumpus.
Yeah. Fresh from calling flat earthers morons. Here he is, Rumpus. Finally being able to call them all morons for real. He's going to go and measure the drop of the water level over 6 miles. I don't think he's doing reciprocal. I'm not too sure. Just doing it one way, I think. I mean, we could go at the bridge at the other end. We'll get some cameras up there. We'll do the reciprocal one for you, Rumpus. We'll do that. I don't know whether we can get auto levels, many more of them in there. But yeah, let's see. Let's make it, Rumpus. If you put a video out and all of that, you might get enough support to do reciprocal. Imagine that, if you could do a reciprocal. Google it, Rumpus. You'll find out what it is. Yeah. Okay. So we'll leave that off for now. Rumpus doesn't need to be seeing any more of them. He's been saying it's frightening him. So too much Bedford footage, Bev. You're showing me up. Sent me a message, so I've had to take it off. It's all right, Rumpus. I've took those images away from the screen. No need to get too upset now. That's Rumpus. He's doing his testing. Everybody knows that. We've got cameras there. We're going to have how many? 1, 2, 3. I think we can get about 6 cameras there, Rumpus, if you need some help. You get your guys to do the flags, and we'll sort out. We could even sort out the reciprocal bit if you're struggling, or if you need any funding or anything, Rumpus. Let us know. We'll just keep well out the way, and we'll do what we do while you're there. But my lad would definitely like to be able to film it. And we've got the auto level ready. Camera set up. We can get a... Well, you'll see what footage we've got.
He might pull a blue and back out if people are going to show up to a public place and try and film an event.
Oh, no. He's got 14 committed people. Like... When George comes, he's got George at least. And there's that guy, there is that guy that introduced himself as the enemy when we did go there. And I think he might be helping Rumpus. And Farmers was there too when Rumpus ran away. So no doubt, he's definitely got 3, 4 with George. We've got our...
When's he supposed to do it?
I don't know. Like his video soon. Well, hopefully when his video comes out, he will have us... we'll know a little bit more about it. Because literally, he's got a flag or something. He might just end up being George. Walking down the path, waving a flag. Could be that. I mean, no, we don't really know exactly what Rumpus's test is. I'll try and explain ours again, because I think DP was been working on some pretty good stuff. I tried to explain the hump that Blue. Because, I mean, has anybody had Rumpus and Blue and see whether they... Because, I mean, Rumpus going for the nutsack drop. Isn't that a contradiction to Blue and his hump? It's complete opposite direction. And Rumpus is Blue's... second man, isn't he? Isn't he the new co-host of the Blues Level is Horizontal stream? Was it Level is Horizontal? I think that's what Blues called his streams, his live streams. I think so, anyway. So, that was just to show that I think Robotham, Flat Earth Society, obviously, but the Flat Earth Society has given people, right, the name the Flat Earth Society, the Flat Earth. What was Robotham doing? He was sat in a canal. Is that Earth? No, it's water. The water, he's supposedly meant to have been a surveyor. And so obviously the water was meant to be, he knows it would have been horizontal. It's before GPS. Robotham. Early 1800s. Was it? No, late 1800s, wasn't it? No, it was the early 1800s. When we used to have cold spells. Yeah, over 200 years ago. He would have known it was horizontal, wouldn't he? How would they have measured elevations otherwise? The only way you can measure an elevation is from a horizontal. Vertical change from horizontal. Hot mic in Euclid? Or you want to come in?
Hold on. Thank Bottom line though, Bev, you gotta agree on the terms. I mean, you can't say hump and drop and expect to have the same meaning and talk to someone. You know, it kind of starts and stops right there.
I think to sensible people, yeah. And then the rest of it is if you keep talking about it, like Rumpus, and they want us to keep talking about it as though it's a thing. Because they need to keep it alive, don't they?
Yeah. Think about it. Even if you had a ball sitting next to you, there's a top, sides, and bottom of the ball. Ooh. Dang it.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, you can't expect to roll the ball and say there's a top there. Look at it, it's there.
Right.
There's the top, there's the top. Everywhere's the top. It's like, not at the same time it isn't. That's what they want you to believe, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things they will want you to believe. They have two ways of violating the law of identity there. It's that one where, everywhere's the top, meaning everywhere you can draw a tangent to it and it will be horizontal. And they have the other one where, no, the horizontal is actually curved and dishorizontal, right? So they have two ways to go about that one.
Yeah. The horizontal is horizontal where you are, but when you move away from it, it starts turning into a slope.
Yeah, it's not horizontal anymore. Now there's a different horizontal. All of a sudden.
Yeah. When you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not there, the horizontal isn't horizontal, but it is where you are. It's so ridiculous. It's just, nah.
You have to violate.
Go on.
Yeah, you have to violate the law of identity. The word horizontal means what it means, but they're like, no, you can have one over there that's different from one over here, and guess what? It's also going to be different from one over here and over here, and I could keep going.
They're all different.
Yeah,
they're the same. They're called the same, but they're all different.
Yeah, in fact, you could never even find an equal, find the same one. It couldn't happen. They would have to all be different, but the same. They're all horizontal, but no. What is that?
Yeah, you've got a horizontal line from A to B, but the horizontal at A is different than the horizontal at B. But the line AB can be classed as a horizontal line. It is. No. And we're going to be going over it. Raven will be doing this. This brings us brilliantly into the trivium. This is the terms, the names of things and what we call them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The identity.
That's why. Yeah, exactly. That's why this is a law of identity violation, because it is called horizontal, and we all know what that means. We all do. It's a straight horizontal line. We all know what that means. But they will tell you, no. None of the horizontals are equal, are the same orientation. They will all intersect each other, which is all ridiculous, having all of math and geometry built on the premise that they're all horizontal. and we can verify that horizontal is horizontal in reality, a straight line. But no, they're
wanna
gonna have
change.
them all.
Yeah, they want to change a horizontal from a line to a point, and then say when you join all of the points together, you end up with a sphere.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? Crazy, isn't it? All horizontal points form a sphere.
Either they have to have an unlimited amount of intersecting ones, or just cut to the chase and call it a sphere right away.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Sphere.
Yeah. Imagine that, a horizontal sphere.
Only in the minds of a glober, because everything is globe.
It's such a strong model that they would. It will have you violate basic logic to defend it. Even though it's so easy to point out, I mean, anyone can do it.
Yeah, basic logic. Basic logic that leads into geometry, that leads into mathematics. But before the logic comes the grammar, the words, what the words mean. And you cannot, like Saragaki says, you cannot violate that horizontal to mean everything's different. Which it doesn't. Horizontal means it's an orientation that everybody knows what it is. It's so obvious. And that mathematics states all horizontals are parallel, all verticals are parallel. It was one of the strangest things that I had to hear coming from a working background, that no verticals can be parallel. They're not allowed to be parallel, which means that all horizontals that are perpendicular can also not be parallel. All of
that was, yeah, I agree. Like, the first time I heard that was someone who also told me that vertical is perpendicular to horizontal.
Yeah.
And like, how can you have that going on? Because all perpendiculars to the same straight line would all be parallel to each other.
Yeah, geometrically, mathematically, they have to be.
Yeah. That's what perpendicular is. Like, there are two equal angles. They are both right angles. So they are two straight lines. They have to be. That straight line cannot be a curved line. They can also not, like, change angles anywhere. It's a straight line.
Yeah, crazy. Does anybody want to have a chat for a bit? Because I'm gonna need to go and have a word with the missus for a bit. Do you want to bust a song? Well,
I'll take a Buster song.
get a buster. We did one chance. What about Dead Straight Lines? There you go. It's not been done for a while, has it? I'll be back in a few minutes, everybody. Quick buster break. Dead Straight Lines. Looking out upon the shore, I found balance and so much more. It's getting clearer all the time. All we see are all these dead straight lines, and show me
what's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies. This is where I make my stand. Please don't take me to your la la land. It's all about geometry. All we see is horizontally. Show me what's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies. Show me what's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies. Reality is all I see. I don't need your fantasy. I've had enough of sophistry. I'll find my own philosophy. Reality is all I see. I don't need your fantasy. I've had enough of sophistry. I'll find my own philosophy, and you can't bend reality into what you think your car deceives. Something's happening to me. Don't remind me of how things used to be. We don't need no sycophants. Are we all just so sick of that?
Okay.
And we're back. Yes, we are. Another one of the Buster songs. Welcome back. I don't know where we're going to go from here. This is Model Affliction Monday, so anybody got any more model problems that anybody's noticed? Other than the obvious ones that we've seemed to have spotted out and got rid of the model, but have we got rid of the ballers? Has Rumpus left us from the chat? I think so. Been embarrassed off. Done enough lying for tonight. Been embarrassed. He might have gone to go and finish his video, so we can all be watching it. About what he's doing when he does his test.
I hope so.
I would really like to know exactly what Rumpus is doing and where he's going to be measuring things and how he's going to be measuring.
Yeah, definitely. I think that should be established beforehand. He's the one, right, who says, "Oh, this is so easy. You utter moron," right? Yeah, just draw it up. Just fix us up with how you're gonna do the angles and the distance measurements and from where to where and all of this. No problem, right? Just hook us up, Rumpus.
There's a lot of Globers I know that will be definitely quoting Rumpus, right? If Rumpus elevates himself to Wallace level, that's big, right? You can expect all of the people that we've ever talked to being able to quote Rumpus every time.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be saying Rumpus did this and Rumpus did that, and we've got Rumpus to thank for that measurement of the drop of the water level in Bedford Canal. The great Rumpus. Where would the globe be without people like Rumpus to do these tests? I've heard him call a lot of people morons and liars and deceivers. So you would expect somebody who does that to have utter clarity about what he's doing with his tests. Couldn't be vague for over a year about what he's doing, waving a flag. I mean, you can't prove water drops 20 feet in the distance without being a river, that, mind you, right? That's water dropping 20 feet in a canal with no locks, like in between locks.
Yeah. What are the locks for, Rumpus? It's not good, Rumpus, going around calling people morons. I've heard people coming in here into the Discord. They're new to this. They've just realized, oh shit, I've been model afflicted for a long time. They're still in the fog a little. They want to know things. They want to question things. Get a little bit of clarity in the fog, and Rumpus comes in and calls them morons for questioning things. That's not good, Rumpus.
He's funny. I quite like Rumpus. He's entertaining, a bit more so than the other ones that we have. Let's say the obfuscation types. Rumpus lays it out very clearly what Rumpus's intent is.
Oh, definitely, yes. He has a point that he needs to stick to in his agenda. Yeah, definitely.
And anybody questions anything that he says, the natural response is to ad hom and tell people that they don't understand, rather than trying to explain it to people so that perhaps they might understand. Maybe do a video about explaining what you're doing, and then they might be able to understand, rather than just being told that they don't understand. And Rumpus obviously doesn't have the ability to help people understand things. Or the fact that Rumpus's brain is just so muddled that nobody can understand what Rumpus is talking about.
That's why he's so angry all the time, right? He has all of this knowledge and everybody's obviously not getting it, but he gets it, but he just cannot convey it to anybody else. It's frustrating as balls.
Yeah. Paralogisms, right? He's got a head full of paralogisms that he just can't explain to people. Nobody can understand them like Rumpus can, and he doesn't have the ability to explain them to anybody, obviously.
No. Ask him to define one, was it, Rumpus?
One.
That was a good conversation. Shadow giants, yeah.
That's a big thing at the minute, the shadow giants.
Yeah, people are like getting membership cards now.
Yeah, I brought it up on Geos today, and oh boy, they were, what, shadow giants? Well, where's that from? Oh, I said that's from Next Level. We came up with that. Yeah,
it's catching on. Yeah.
Well, I think, I saw a quote, somebody said, Newton said he wouldn't have got where he was if it wasn't standing on the shoulders of giants. That's exactly where it came from. Because we said, yeah, shadow giants. Standing on the shoulders of shadow giants gets you nowhere. It's still you, isn't it? You've got no extra height. You can't do anything by standing on a shadow. So these giants, you have to be able to prove that the giants are giants and not just shadow giants. Shadow giants aren't going to help anybody except into paralogisms. I don't want to put people off.
Yeah, that's been a big thing just recently here, right? Trying to prove, or having anybody trying to prove that these people are actually giants and not just shadow giants. Like with the parallel, listen to me go. The Axiom 12, me and SC had a conversation with someone the other day. Yeah, and even before that, flat Earth data for a long time about this. But they say, that's the argument he brings, right? They say they have issues with it. I don't know what the issue is. I can't see the problem. They say there's a problem there. And can you prove what is the problem? Can we start there? Like, what's going on? Again, can you prove that they are? Yeah, can you prove they're giants and not just shadow giants, right? Yeah, nobody knows what the problem is with that one.
Yeah, when you ask them what's wrong with the fifth postulate, which is actually the 12th axiom, they're like, I don't have a problem personally, but like you said, Saragaki, but some family back in the old days, it was a big problem. They were trying to figure it out. It was passed on from father to son, and this guy had a problem with it, and that. What was the problem?
Yeah, there's no argument against it. Like, nobody can come up with a valid argument against it because it's obvious.
Yeah, except referencing somebody from the past who had a problem with it.
Didn't the father tell the son, like, don't do this? Like, I wasted my entire mathematical career trying to do this. It can't be done. I'm warning you before you waste your life like I did. Please don't follow in my footsteps. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. But Dad told me not to. Right, I'll show him.
Yes.
Madness. Right. And perhaps madness went in the family, right?
Yeah, it could very well be.
Man, it's a freaking triangle. It explains a triangle. That's it. What's with this father-son? Prophets have been studying it for years. No, man. It describes a triangle. That's it.
It's the implications. I can't remember. Somebody like Rumpus said it's it was McToons, isn't it? Like when he was redefining Flat Earther. He said anything with the implications in their mind that they can then perceive you as a flat earther, then that's how you're going to be labelled as a flat earther. So if you say level is horizontal, then by implication on their behalf, they'll call you a flat earther.
Guilty by association and implication.
Yeah, guilty by implication. And whose implication? Well, theirs.
Because if they can deduce that vertical being perpendicular to horizontal has implications for their model, then...
Yeah. Something happens that it just has to be the model. Even though perpendicular is two straight lines. There's no way it can be explained or worked out by anybody. That's why nobody can understand it. Nobody can understand it because it literally doesn't make any sense to even have the argument. The only way I'm saying most of the time, the only way you can have this argument is if you are model afflicted. If you're not model afflicted, you just don't even think of this. You say, yeah, okay, of course it is. It's horizontal level. It has to be.
I think I'd have to say, Bev, after watching that, those optics, brilliant photography there by your son. It's the first time I've seen that. How anybody can watch that and not realise that you can't prove anything with optics, and you need to go to physical measurement in reality. As far as I'm concerned, that's the only way you can go if you're trying to, if you want to show that a straight line is a straight line, level is level, you can't use optics. It's obvious.
Yeah.
Just watching that footage is just so obvious.
Yeah, I don't think optics can bend straight lines.
No.
They can make it appear.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of weird stuff that happens in the distance.
Oh, Ravens, was it you the other day who were asking about my language and how that with the one comma changing the place with
that's
one?
correct, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've told you. We have another piece of interesting stuff in the language which goes along with this, with the water. We have the word horizontal, but in this context we don't have the word level. We use a different word, and it's vannrett. Vannrett. Vann being water, rat being right, as in a right line, a straight line. Vannrett. It's literally the word we use.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant, isn't it? Because that's what we talk about, isn't it? A right line and a right angle, and
yeah.
So you say the word for horizontal, did you say? Or word for level is water right? Which one?
We have the word horizontal. Yeah. We use that one interchangeably because we have the tool, a level. We literally call it a water. It's just the word water, but with a V instead of a W. A water, that's a leveling tool. And that establishes a horizontal
even
in the
bubble
language.
Levels
yeah.
are called a water as well.
Water, yeah. And if you're having an actual water level, this is hilarious. It's actually called vann water, as in water level, water level. It's ridiculous. Vann water. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Talk about doubling down on this stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? When Raven starts with the Oregon, and they start with classifications of, and it's just all about words, what words mean and how to use the right word at the right time, and how words can have different meanings but the same spellings, and it is about that. So yeah, the water level water, it's like, it makes sense, right? To link something in reality to something that means something, always the same.
The language is so important. The language, the definitions, it all comes back to the importance of how you communicate these meanings, and using the correct words. And it's interesting talking to other people with different language backgrounds, and how all of the languages seem to pick up on these same ideas and themes. It's fascinating, really is fascinating.
Well, I think the the idea of the words, right? Words are used to communicate things in reality, and that's what Aristotle's going to do, right?
Yeah.
To show
Correct,
how
yeah.
you use the words to explain things in reality. Now, at the point where non-reality gets injected into logic, mathematics, geometry, whatever, by spellcasters, that's where they can start playing with those things. So up until the moment that you inject non-reality into something, it's the spellcasters, the poets, the people making up things that don't exist. That's when you lose sight of what is. And that's, I think, the bit that we're on at the minute now. We've discovered within this arena that we're in, there's so much obfuscation been thrown in. We're trying to work out now and see where these obfuscations come from. Exactly, we're trying to point out all of the tricks that are going on. Hopefully that's what we're doing here tonight. Model Affliction Monday is going to be, from now on, us trying to expose these obfuscations that have been thrown in to help non-reality push reality out. I think that even through the fact of all of the words, they've been changed or whatever. So now we've found that it's basically the argument that every argument that we ever have, the obfuscation is done through the law, breaking of the law of identity. Things get shifted around, whether it be the argument and the words, the formulation of the words within the argument get changed, or literally the obfuscation of a paralogism with the definition shift, or keep it within the words. Yeah, those are the two, I think. The words and how they're used to form an argument, and literally the definitional shift of a word. They'll just make it mean two different things and change that meaning mid-conversation.
Without you even noticing half the time, probably. They just slip it in and it gets accepted. And then you've broken the law of identity or of the excluded middle. And then before you know it, you're arguing against these logicians who are just creating false narratives, really.
Yeah, before you know it, you are arguing a non-argument. Something that didn't even exist before you started opening your mouth. So, I mean, that's where we're at. That's where we're going to be doing. Anybody spots any of those tricks that people use, and come and have a chat. That's what we're after now. Particular arguments and exposing non-arguments that people throw in. Maybe a model argument, maybe not a model argument, right? It doesn't have to be related around the model. These sort of things happen everywhere, and they go much deeper than a model. I think it's within society at the minute, where people end up having discussions about things and then not realizing the actual foundations of them. We're going to try and explain advanced simplicity, going back to the root. I think terms, isn't it, Raven? That'd be a good one.
Yeah, try and get back to the original intent and what the original words were used before they got corrupted, to make sure that we're all agreeing that we're moving forward with the same intent, and that it was what was originally meant, rather than building upon some kind of distorted truth that somebody decided, a few hundred years ago, that this was going to be changed, or that was going to be changed, or they would change the nuance of a word so that it doesn't mean quite what we thought it meant originally. Hopefully we'll expose all this, and through the conversation as we go on, we can then build up the skills to perhaps identify these things a little bit quicker, so that we can nip it in the bud, so to say, and stop things going too far down the wrong route.
Yeah. So I think for the next. Oh God, sorry.
I think it's interesting on that same note that we have so many people of different languages also joining the conversation. If words are supposed to relay like the fundamental understanding of something we learned from nature, then the fact that we can relay back and forth between different languages, those concepts, those meanings, and use that as a tool to trace this. I think that's really great.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be a really interesting aspect of this, because we do have so many people who have got a basis in different languages, or interested in etymology, and then we'll be able to sort of bring in so many of these different connections, thoughts, and ideas, and bring and shine a light upon the language that we use, and show that how interrelated all of these languages are when you get down to the brass tacks of it.
I think it's just brilliant how, if you in English you say level is horizontal, which it obviously is, but in my language it would be vannrett, like water right is horizontal, which everybody knows intrinsically by knowing the language and growing up speaking like that. Everybody knows it's horizontal, right? Because of that. It's the image that goes along with the word you use.
Yeah, I've said this a couple of times lately, but I'll say it with the live audience. My crews from Honduras, 2 of them, use the term watering the land or watering the dirt when they're talking about how they're making the dirt horizontal and flat with the equipment. Like, are y'all done with the dirt work? And say, yes, sir. They say, yes, boss. The land is watered, or we're watering the land, which means they're making it horizontal.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and that goes down to the words, right? Everybody listening, what we will be doing is our first. I think the first thing we should be doing to let everybody know how the obfuscation trick works is in the law of identity. That's the big trick that we need to sort first, right? And obviously this is known because Aristotle does it within the organon.
The organon, yeah.
Yeah. He starts off with words. It's how they all begin. And that's the obfuscation that everybody manages to do. So if we can start off and set out a firm foundation of why the definitions of things are needed, so fundamental in the basis of any argument. It's getting your numbers right in order to do your sums. If you don't start off with the numbers and an understanding of what the numbers are, your sums aren't going to work out right at the beginning, at the end. Well, that's what we're going to be doing for a bit now with ravens.
Yeah, just imagine if you tried to start your mathematics with somebody might have 1 and 1 equals 2, and then somebody else is arguing that 1 and 1 equals 3. Well, you're never going to move forward, are you? And it's the same with your language. If you don't get your language right,
Or when they say things like it could be 3. Right? It's like it's so vague in what they're saying. Yes. It's a non-argument completely. So
yeah, that modifier there could, within the logic of the rhetoric there, changes everything. Makes it all
include
relative.
In the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or negating the law of non-contradiction.
Yep, you have to violate either of the 3, you know. Usually you will end up having to violate all of them if you violate the law of identity. I can't really see one where you don't violate the others. It seems like it would follow that they would all violate at the same time.
Yeah.
Be violated.
I think that's why. Yeah, that's why you start off with the words and the grammar and the classifications of things.
Yep. But once you start violating, it's like intoxicating, right? You just can't help yourself. You just keep violating after that. Becomes easy. The 5th, who needs it? Chuck this aside. Oh, that axiom? We don't need that one.
Yeah, it's like a superpower, right? We've gone over that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's good to go back to the grammar. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, the words have always been one of the things that most people come back to, right? There's always those little things. I mean, when I first came into this, and strangely enough, level, but in a search, and I went back, it's all of the definitions in the dictionaries state that level is horizontal. In my knowledge within surveying, yeah, level is horizontal. Differential leveling wouldn't occur if it wasn't. But you then search back, and Newton mentioned about right lines. So then you start thinking, well, why did they separate right lines into straight lines? And if they did, then how far back did they go with the straight? And how did they manage to write that in when it said right? And right meant straight, and everybody knows what right means. Righteous, and there's loads of right words, right angle. It's obvious that within the game and the play or whatever, they had to add in the onto the straight. Right? They added something into it to make it the same thing, but different.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it was like, well, if all of the definitions say that level is horizontal, and right is obviously what it was before, and right angles are within geometry, and right lines are what Newton was talking about, then where? He said that this model that we're dealing with now, the people with the model affliction, that's got to be pretty recent. Because if it wasn't, there's no way level would be right and right would be straight and geometry would be the way geometry is if it wasn't.
Not to harp on language while we're talking about language, but in my language, we don't have a word for straight lines. We only have right lines. Rattlinje. Vannratt. That's the only word we have for right lines.
Yeah.
Just to turn the point around.
It can't be that old, right? That's what I mean. That straight isn't that old. And if it isn't that old, then how easily has everybody been fooled into just adding a new word in? It wasn't really a word to start off with. It's not that it's needed either. You don't need straight.
No, that's true. These tricks are quite easy to play, aren't they? If you think about it, if you can sneak it in and get it past. It doesn't take much for people just to fall along and accept that it has always been that way.
Well, I mean, it does go to show the importance of words and your understanding of what the words mean, right? The idea that straight and right are the same doesn't really make any difference, does it? As long as you understand what it actually means. Whereas there are people who you can argue with today that have a different idea on what right and straight means. And they can mean the same thing in different terms in the same argument. And different things within the same terms in the same argument. It's
At the
crazy.
same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
And they don't see the contradiction.
No. Dialetheism at work.
Yeah, it was hilarious, as he wrote the other day. We outlined it to this guy. Dialetheism, two truths, a true contradiction, when you can actually hold two contradictory statements as true at the same time. It's crazy, and he's like, yeah, that doesn't sound correct. How can anybody do that? And then we showed him the double drop hump that doesn't exist, and he showed it.
Yeah. It's great, that, isn't it? When you can literally show people something. That's why I say, if you're ever doing this chat with people, like, warn them first about cogdis, right? Because if you let people know what cognitive dissonance is before you start the conversation, it's like that dialetheism, right? You literally tell them something that they say, no, I wouldn't do that. That's not me. And then at the end of the conversation, they do that, right? They have
do exactly
contradictions,
that.
Yeah.
It gets strange. You show them the contradiction. They're like, no, that's a straw man. And then they turn around to explain to you how it's a straw man by literally explaining back to you what you have just explained to them as the contradiction itself. They just explain it back to you, like, that's how it actually works. Yeah, that's what I just told you, bro.
Yeah, just told you you'd say that, and that's a contradiction.
Yeah. How is that fixing anything? You're just stating the same contradiction that I just stated beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. Truly mind-boggling.
I call it Alice in Wonderland, right? Is it the Mad Hatter? I've never really watched it, but they say stuff that just doesn't make any sense, nonsensical, and you're meant to sort of accept it, right, as part of an argument, because they do. That's their argument. It's paralogisms, and people, if you're wondering what we mean by paralogisms, it's logic that doesn't fit. It's a fallacy. You end up with a false conclusion at the end of a bad logical system. But because it's your logical system that you've done, then nobody's ever going to be able to change that. When anybody ever says anything to you about a paralogism, You can't see it. It's one of the, I'm going to call it the basis of a magic trick. Literal magic trick. If you can find a paralogism, and then you will find that people cannot see it. If you show it to them, they cannot see it, and they will double it back and reverse it onto you. And that's what Saragaki's just explained. Like it happens all the time. You can do it every time and guarantee a reaction from it.
Yep, never fails. And you can tell them, and you can tell them, like we said up front, you're going to double speak right now. Within the next few, you're going to say, sorry, I'm cutting out, I'm bad. Yeah, you can tell them within a few minutes, you're going to double speak. You're going to say, you're going to go into a paralogism. You're going to go into a dialectic statement. No way, I won't do it. And then, yep, sure enough, they do it.
It goes back to Raven's presentation again, right? There was a section where you talked about form within the logic. It's the formulating the input correctly before you're going into the rhetoric, right? Yeah, so that's what it is with the paralogism. It's badly formulated logic that the one using the paralogism think is correct logic while it's not, arriving at a fallacious conclusion which is obviously wrong, but they can't see it because they think the form, the logic, is actually sound and valid while it's not.
Mm-hmm. And the problem is, if you manage to talk somebody through it and they begin to see it, and the cognition kicks in, you see the panic in the eyes. They start to sort of really become panicky that something doesn't compute.
Yeah, you can tell when they start spiraling in around the same nonsensical point that you've just shown them is nonsensical. They start spiraling, literally around that very point. Not addressing it, but just spiraling around it, yeah.
If anybody's listening in and you want to come in and like, because I don't want us, because we've all developed these words and phrases that some of them are real. Even some of the words that we use, you may get used to us making phrases and terms and all sorts of words up, which we do make some stuff up, like bendizontal. There are a lot of things that we have made up, but terms like diletheism and paralogisms, that they have genuinely come from a search that we've had and realizations. And I think these are words that we've lost for a reason. They've been cast aside. There's a lot of words that I found that I've been looking for quite a while. I've known that there are things that I've had a sense of, there should be a word for that, but there isn't. I can't find it. It's not there, right? And that's the way that you can hide things. You can literally make things disappear by taking the words away that explain it. Now, in the past, there would definitely have been words there that people used to explain things that today they've gone, simply because they are part of a thought process that isn't needed anymore. People have become standing on the shadows of giants. They, you know, and imagining they are actually standing on the shoulders of them. They're not. They're standing on the shadows of them, and some of them have shadow giants, and they're thinking they're standing on the shoulders of them. They're actually standing on the shadows of nothing. Shadows of yourself. That's all you can stand on. You're not going to stand on the shoulders of giants, because you can't just be given that information. Nobody can give you a giant's information. And you definitely cannot claim science and then stand upon the shoulders of it. It's a nonsensical thing.
You are going to have to start at the baseline and, you know, build up your own understanding. It is impossible to just leapfrog yourself into some understanding of something by just reading what somebody else said about it. You have to start at the basics.
The interesting thing, though, is going to be whether or not people are able to do that, right? It's almost, to me, it's going to be like, can you, after your muscles have atrophied because you haven't used them in so long, are you able to after a certain period of time? I think we're all going to find that out when we start going. My brain muscles were hurting after Ravens thing last week. So, I mean, I think there's going to be some people that we know just will not be able to make that trip, right? They will not be able to exercise enough of that muscle to get it back, to be able to actually think.
It's a challenge, isn't it? How far can you... It's a challenge that we all have, because we're all on this journey, aren't we? And how far we can push ourselves and grow. But that's the benefit of having a community rather than trying to do it on your own, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to try and let people know that I don't want us to sound like we're stuck up or anything, right?
No.
We are starting at the very basics. And it may seem like it's advanced, but advanced simplicity, we try and make it as simple as possible. I would love for some new people to come in, like not on the public night show or anything, right? Just come in and have a chat. We don't record everything. I mean, in fact, like some of the recording, some of the stuff we've done just recently, it's not worth it. Like the discussions we have, I'm enjoying these nights and where it's real and the real discussions that we have. I don't think we need to go over any more of the other things to put them out. I can go over all of the other stuff and try and explain the tricks and tactics. But I really think the conversations I want to be having with people now are the ones just in Discord and not recorded. Just have the conversation so we can learn. And then we can implement what we learn in nights like this. Because thanks to people like Raven and Saragaki and obviously the old schoolers, Rakia, Mobius, Essie, spot on, Emma, right? Everybody that's around here has all added a bit, and the more people that come, the more gets added to this, and we're definitely developing in the right way by going back to the simplicity. I like it even more. We started off thinking we could get simple, and we went back to the geometry, and then we found logic. And now we've gone even back to the words, right? I don't think there's any way for us to go back any further than this.
I don't think so.
I don't think we possibly can. So anybody wants to come and join in, this is the time. Go on.
I think it depends a little on what you specifically would define as further than this. But there was a word in the presentation you used, which predicamenta. And that word is interesting on that note you're bringing up now, Bev, because that word, we can break it down, maybe not at this moment, because we're going to go there eventually anyway. But that word, I think, will have implications on this topic you're on now.
Interesting.
It's written with an A-E. We have that letter in our alphabet where the A and the E is joined together into just one symbol. It's probably gonna be worth a little time spent on it specifically. It's very interesting. I had to take note of that when you went over it the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, I look forward to a discussion around that. Then that would be interesting and illuminating.
Yeah, I'm finding it fascinating with Saragaki. Saragaki came in with the law of identity, and it came in because of logic. But I find it fascinating that where Saragaki lives, which is another one of the like Rakia moments, and with the language thing is I've always said, I personally am a number person. My brain was always good at maths. But since finding geometry, I've found that it's not just maths, it's logical, right? Because I had to teach myself how to do maths. The teachers, always ask questions, but I worked out how to do it for myself. I had to. And so it was a logical process that taught me maths, and maths was easy for me to understand because there's no trickery in mathematics. It's dead straightforward, logical process. Whereas the words and making stories up and doing all of that just never fitted with me. But since finding logic and finding you guys, and we're working through it all now, the words and the understanding and getting to the directness of the logical meaning of words and that sort of stuff, it's took away that let's say fear, but my denying words or saying I was no good at that. Now this is something for me to start afresh with a genuine understanding of where we're coming from within the words and the meanings of words. I find it great because it's, to me, this is exposing like wizardry, trickery. I don't like people deceiving people. And hopefully anybody that comes on this journey is going to end up realizing that you can't be fooled. Once you arm yourself, critical thinking, a logical presentation, and an understanding of exactly the processes that are going, and hopefully we'll make it more aware of these different tricks that get used, because I think that's where we're at. Many people have done this sort of thing, but we as a group have the ability to understand a certain set of arguments and see the trickery within the words and being able to relate it to that, which hopefully is going to be learning for us and anybody that wants to come along.
I think it's going to be very useful life skills for anybody to experience and perhaps absorb a little bit of. Anything that's going to improve our critical thinking, anything that's going to allow us to be able to function in a more adult way within this society, I think is good. So, looking forward to the journey.
Yeah. And Spot On's been going after Ludwig Wittgenstein.
Yeah, that's it.
I forgot
And a few
that
and a
word,
few
but-
others now added.
Yeah. So we've now got a philosophy section. Anybody wants to come in and get involved? Yeah, this is going to new places that I never really thought it would. Again, simple group of people, but some of this stuff may seem a bit above. I mean, given me this a few years ago, I'd have said, I'm not too sure about that. I can't really see the use in it. But breaking it down now, I think this is well within the grasp of everyone. Just to get a little piece of the understanding of how a logical process and a logical argument works, and how that can help you have a better argument, right? How to understand your argument better as well. This is, I think this is going to be good. And if anybody, I don't know how we can explain it. Maybe I might need to go and have a chat with some people. And well, I don't know.
I mean, the way I look at it is that we're all on this journey together. We're all starting from different levels. A lot of you guys have been on this for a couple of years, looking at a certain angle from it, coming to it from a certain direction. You know, I've come in and introduced something a little bit different, and there's a little philosophy section developed and opening up, and we're just ordinary people, and it's not, this stuff isn't beyond anyone. If you're interested, if it sparks a little bit of interest and a bit of enthusiasm, I think that's all you need. I think everybody's got the ability. If it's something that you're interested in, something that you're finding, sparks a little bit of excitement, something new, if you can get hold of that enthusiasm and run with it, it's not, I don't think it's anything that anybody should be frightened of. It's not big highbrow stuff. You don't need to, and hopefully we'll be breaking all of the work, the use of language and the work we do with grammar. Hopefully is going to help, because it'll help teaching how to look at words, how to look at language, and how to move forward, understanding how sentences are constructed in a logical way that actually conveys meaning and allows two minds to communicate, which is what it's all about. So I'll just say to people, don't fear it, and just join in and see how you get on. Join the Discord and just join in as and when you feel you can. Everybody's welcome. As far as I'm concerned, everybody's welcome.
Yeah, I was thinking it can seem quite challenging. I remember when I first came in and I was thinking, oh, that group of people seem a bit, a tight-knit group, and I don't know how to join in. Well, we may appear like that now, but trust us, we're not. Anybody can come and join in this conversation. I would say, though, you have to not have a fear of cognitive dissonance, because it will occur. It still occurs. Hopefully everyone here is looking to try and find that in everybody else. That's what all of us do here, is try and point that out whenever we see it, or try and cause it in each other, right? Is to point out fallacies that you have. And when you do, somebody does point those fallacies out, it's how the reaction is. And I think there can be a fear of that reaction, right? You see other people saying shit and you think, how would I react if it was like that? And then that reason people don't come in, I think.
It will be interesting when we get to, I think is it book 6 in the Organon that we're going to be studying to start with, which is all to do with the fallacies. And that could be quite an entertaining time when we start looking at all of our own fallacies that we may have either still have or we've lived through and experienced, and all the different types of fallacies that we've come across. You know, that can be a challenging time, but I should imagine it could also be quite a fun time as well. If we're thinking back to some of the fallacies that we've come across and heard from people, including ourselves, probably at times.
Yeah.
So that could be an interesting study of what Aristotle found as regards to the fallacies. So I look forward to that one as well.
Yeah, I love spotting fallacies and pointing them out in myself as well, right? That's what you should be doing. I think everybody should be self-checking for fallacies, but it's one of those things that you can't do on your own.
Difficult.
I think you need to have people around that you can check, and you've got to have trusted people, not ass kissers.
Yeah, they're the last type of people you want around you. You want a few straight talkers, you know. People who will be there for you, support, but are not going to sort of, like you said, kiss your ass just for the sake of it.
So I just want some more people to come in. I'm going to have to go out and have a chat. Obviously, this stuff that we've got and the stuff that we've been going over, water level thing is a definite. I think I can sort something pretty simple whenever we go and do a test. Hopefully when Rumpus goes and does his test, there might be a few people to talk to. We will be going this year to have the on the level next level annual general meeting down at Bedford. We'll go and get some cameras out and we'll do some stuff. So people are invited to come down when we do that. Might coincide with another one, but may not. I don't know. And we're hoping to do a few more other things this year. Tests and whatnot. It's going to be some good times coming this year. And especially going through this new change that we're going to have to go through, where it's being made quite clear that we're not part of a community, but that other community that we're not part of are still obsessed with us. We can't help that. Especially when we're going to be pointing out all the little tricks that we have. They won't be enjoying it. Most of the people that are in here have been around for quite a while. We've got some other people that aren't in here that have been around even longer. The true old schoolers, they're not around. They just come around every now and again to have a bit of a chat. But there's a lot of experience and a lot of conversations that have been heard and conversations that have been part of. Now, most of us started, and we weren't aware of the tricks that were being played. But over time, we've seen them more and more, and we've had chance. And most of the times, I've noticed of me being in so-called debates or just discussions with people, you don't see things when you're in the midst of the conversation. This is why you can't be on your own in these conversations. You need to have a group of people. I've been in the conversations. Luckily enough, I either record them or put them back again, and I get a chance to listen to them. Most of the people that are around here don't do that. They're on shows that have been recorded, but they don't record it, and they definitely don't listen back to themselves. So you never get to learn from anything. I'm lucky enough to have been in both that situation, recorded it and listened back to myself, and had people like Essie and Rakia had conversations that I can listen to also. And I have I can see how you don't have the bigger picture when you're in the midst of battle, let's say. You need to be able to sit back and experience the entire thing as well as be in it. And there's a lot of experience here, right? And that's what we want to try and help people out with, is the deception that happens with trickery of all sorts of different kinds.
But what you said about listening back, that's rings so true, because I don't think I've listened back to one of the conversations I've had and thought, damn, I wish I would have said that like this. And I don't think I heard that, and I should have said this. And yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like hearing their own voice, so they never listen back to it.
I'm one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. You just have to imagine it's a different person. Right? It makes it much easier. If you don't listen back to it as you, then you can still learn from it as though it's another person. He made that terrible mistake there. Or, I find most of the time it's stuff that you didn't spot, right? The tricks that happened and how they deviated one particular line, and then they do like a distraction technique, and you forget what the question was and how to go back to it, and you never get back to that one vital question because they lead you somewhere else. It's a very cunning way of discussing things with people that's obviously not intended to have an outcome where you can mutually accept a conclusion, right? It's trickery everywhere.
I think that's a very valid point. I've always resisted doing that because, like you say, nobody likes the sound of their own voice. Particularly, if you come from an area of strong accents and things like that. But it's so important because of those little things that you miss, the little the trickery that goes on, the distraction, the obfuscation that you didn't spot or you let go and didn't come back to. So I think I'll take that on board. I think I'll have to do more active self-listening, I think, to things that are put out. Yeah, good point.
Oh no, you're doing fine, Ravens. I'm talking about now when we're trying to expose the deceptions that go on, and how you can be fooled by people tricking you, right? But I know that you're not going to do that, and I don't think you're ever going to end up in one of those debate scenarios.
Oh God, no!
Right? You're far too clever to get yourself in that situation to start off with.
Yeah, but it's really good to ensure that you do just see how you're doing, and that you are still on track, and that you aren't being I just think it's important for everybody to have those skills of self-awareness, and having the ability to listen back on themselves, and see how they did. A little bit of self critical analysis goes a long way, I think.
Yeah. Drop the ego.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've done enough for tonight, haven't we? Anybody want to finish off with anything else? I'll cue a Buster song ready for the end. Good show. Thanks to everybody for coming. Tomorrow is Logic night. And I haven't quite decided what we're doing on that. But I want to start with the theme of going back to the simplicity of everything. I don't want people to be thinking this is beyond them. So as we're starting off with Aristotle and going right back to the simplicities of it, I think we might try and go back to the basics of logic, and hopefully I haven't got a clue. But I'm thinking now what we should do is, in order for us to go through this, there's loads of people that go through logic and Aristotle and all that. I think what we particularly would do is to keep this involved with this arena that we're in, because this is where we've taught ourselves, right? I think this arena has taught us to be here, and we have to use this arena in order to explain why we are here. So if we try and use logic to explain the predicament that we're in and the predicament the other people are in,
yeah,
then it should be a better way for us to end up explaining the whole, right? Because all of these things, the trivium, three roads meeting right at a center point, everything comes together with all of these things, as in everything. I guess the whole group of us here are a similar sort of thing, where every one of us here are different. Go on.
Yeah, it's all about coming together, isn't it? It's not about separating. It's about coming together.
So the more of us we can get together, and the more we can try and piece all of these things together, the better off we'll be in the end. So that's what I'm going to try and do with the logic, geometry, reality, and the trivium now as well. All of it together. In fact, the trivium is the logic, geometry, reality type thing anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. I think to be able to build on the examples that you've had over the last couple of years, and use that, they can be little almost little learning tools, can't they? Where you can apply what we're talking about, sort of, we talked about Aristotle and his ideas and all the rest of it, but you've got some real background there that you can use as working examples, aren't you?
Yeah, and you can implement them into conversations. You can implement it into arguments.
That's right. Yeah. So I think you're on the right track there.
So good times to come. Definitely got to be a wisdom one, hasn't it? Okay. Anybody? Any final words or anything? Other than Essie, have you got any new videos out or anything? You don't got any new?
Nothing out recently. Just the last one I did a couple of days ago.
Yeah. So SE's our man out front. You want to hear any of them over at Earth Awakenings most of the time? Both SE and Rakir. Our men out in the field taking the hits for the team. We've had a few people in our Discord as well. Everybody's free to come in. We've had some flat Earth obsessed people coming in as well. Some strange conversations recently, but I mean the team here is getting good. This is cutting edge arguments here.
The last video that SE put out, I really enjoyed. It was really good. Well worth a watch.
Thanks, bro. The latest one with Zanuck, I don't usually recommend, but this one is worth listening to. Dilithiism.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
That's good. That's how to use dilithiism in an argument, and perfectly explains what we've been going over tonight with Saragaki earlier, right? You can literally show it to them on a plate, and they'll end up agreeing.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. Truly.
Right. So, yeah, welcome to join us tomorrow. Thanks for joining us tonight. Tomorrow, logic. See you then.
It is probably the single most important mathematical idea of all. The notion of proof by circle and line or ruler and compass construction means that geometry can be known about in a way that is different from knowing about physical things, and so makes geometry epistemically differentiated. Furthermore, starting from circles and lines alone and constructing a relationship using circles and lines alone makes the conclusions certain in a way that nothing else was at the time. In geometric reasoning, the argument and the conclusions were made supremely clear and evident to the senses. Indeed, the concept of proof, a mechanism that gave a warrant for claiming geometry to be perfectly and absolutely true, made geometry the very paradigm of what we mean true and certain knowledge to be. In effect, in our understanding of nature, true means true, like geometry is true.
Come go with me. Open your mind. Was all I ever knew. Finding the knowledge of the real world starts with the point of which has no parts. These are the axioms of life.
True.
And I take my chances with the old ways, finding the proofs in geometry.
Perfect.
And I don't care what all the sophists say. I find the proofs in reality. 'Cause they were right.
We call this
We know that they were right.
true. We call this proof. Like geometry is true.
Starting with circles and lines alone, constructing the nature of what's known.
We call this proof.
Conclusions are clear and the evidence seen. This 3D space works perfectly. And I take my chances with the old ways, finding the proofs in geometry. And I don't care what all the sophists say. I find the proofs in reality.
Like geometry is true. Perfect. Absolutely.
And all around you is sinking sand. You have a place on which to stand. Foundations were already built for you.
Absolutely true.
Open your mind, and I'll take my chances with the older ways, hearing the words of what the ancients said. They say my words sound like sorcery, but there's wisdom in all honesty. Come go with me, open your mind. Come go with me, we'll find the truth.
True.